Here is Danny, and today I have just returned from 3 days of Gamescom, courtesy of the website MP First, who sent me out to Germany. And I got to see a 40-minute demo on a big cinema screen of Alan Wake 2. And while I couldn't record the screen for 40 minutes, they did send me over some B-roll. And now it's my turn to give some context on what is happening in the story, what is happening in videos, and what I think of it. Alan Wake has been stuck in a nightmare for 13 years, happening after the events of the first game. He's stuck in a nightmare version of New York, where Alan finds out he has done things he can't even remember, like being on a talk show as you can see here, or finishing a book which the host has already read, but you can't even remember finishing, and now he has to write himself out of that nightmare. Blending in-game rendered action and live action acting, like during the late night talk show with Mr. Door. Remedy really loves that kind of stuff. And of course the old Gods of Asgard return, like in every past game. And to write himself out of the nightmare, he has to finish the book itself by finding plot points. And for that he has some brand new toys. Alan has access to the Angel Light, which can open up new places. Like here, the entrance to the subway is just gone. But charging the Angel Light at a different place, he can just zap back the entrance back in place. And then, a bit later, he can get rid of a wall standing in his way to get into an entry port, or to solve some puzzles later down in the metro line. Also, look at the signs where it goes from Don't Sleep Again Street to Stop Writing Wake Boulevard. Is it a neat detail or something to come? Creative director Sam Lake also shows up in a game as Alex Casey, an FBI agent that Alan Wake wrote, who has been missing. And it becomes one of the many plot points. There are some other plot points too that you can choose from as well, like a murder cult. But more about that in a second. The Alex Casey books did actually show up in the original Alan Wake 2, and that is how you progress through the game, finding plot points that contextually fit with the situation. You can do this at the plot board, which you can access at every time, which allows you to change the world around you. Like here in this clip, there's a plot point about a missing FBI agent, which is Alex Casey, and selecting it changes the world around you. But you can also change it to something else like the murder code, and then another scene will play out, giving you more lore on the game. For example, somewhere else in the metro tunnels there is a derailed metro carriage, with a bunch of debris that stops you from going past it. That with the right torchbearer plot point turns into a burned out metro, where people have been burned to death by a death cult. But it does allow you to get through the debris, so you have to. Just like in the first game, there's shadow figures, the dark presence, trying to stop Alan from going places. Some will just stand by idly, others will actually attack you, and you will never know which ones will actually attack you. So you always have to watch out. It is also possible to sneak past them by turning off your flashlight and then just like sneakily go past them and not trigger them. However, that will not always work. But it is a great way to save resources, because bullets are sparse and so are batteries that go into your flashlight. So that has not changed compared to the first Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. Alan Wake. Wake.
The story plot points of FBI agent Saga and Ellen can be played mostly separately in a row if you want to, but at the start and the end of the game will force you to tie everything together. There are also links between Alan Wake's nightmare world and Saga in the real world, which in the demo was shown off just after Alan tried to pick up a heart of a murdered guy, of who you could see his penis. Like, I did not expect to see a big giant 3D penis on a massive cinema screen, yet here we are. And that is about where the demo stopped. There was also some other events that happened, like Alan Wake meeting a person in a room, of which the person knows Alan and Alan having no idea who he is, and a mysterious voice calling him and telling him to go to the metro.
Yes.
Do you know who I am?
No? Who is this?
We'll get to that later.
So yeah, what do I think of the game? It looks really amazing, honestly, visually. It was playing on a PC with RTX and it just looks really good. One of the prettiest games I've seen at Gamescom, honestly. Gameplay also seems really good, but I like Alan Wake, I like horror, so that makes sense. Story seems to be very interesting, and Alan Wake is always good. The game is semi-open world, meaning you can go back to places you've visited before to change the plot points around. So if you did the correct thing at first, you can always go back and select the wrong plot point to see how that would have played out, which is pretty neat and gives more lore opportunities, which is also pretty nice. The game is set to release on October 27th on PC with the Epic Games Store, which is kinda sad, PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And the standard PC edition only costs €50, which is actually pretty nice, especially considering a lot of games release for 70 these days. But the console versions will sell for 60, like always. But hey, that's all I got for now. Thanks to MP First for sending me over to Gamescom. It was also lovely to meet Sam Lake in real life, got even a picture. But this was Danny and I see you on the battlefield.